This is it then, the wait is over. The opening race of the 2021 MotoGP eSport Global Series is about to get underway with Andrew ZH starting from pole position. Joining him on the front row, an incredible performance from the rookie Jack Hammer with our two-time champion Trastevere on the outside in third.
On row 2, it's Williams Christian on the Suzuki, gone for the hard front as well, so he's going to be aggressive in the first few laps. Lined up next to him is Piero Ricciuti, making his rookie season as well, and in 6th place is the world champion Adrian. Watch for him coming through, he's always rapid.
Ricardo Bottaro front row 3 of the grid on the Pramac Ducati, ahead of Juan NH on the Aprilia, and the final spot on row 3 of the grid, going the way of the Indonesian Sancho Queen.
And on the back row of the grid is our final rookie, Dark Bright, along with the Australian Mr. TFTW. He's certainly one that's made hard charges before, so let's watch out for him as we go racing in Portimao.
Here we go then, the opening race of 2021 about to get underway. Watch the lights. We are going 2021, and it's a dynamite start from Trastevere on the outside of the front row, but look at the world champion coming through from 6 on the grid. A good start from Christian as well, and he's going to swoop through. Mistake from Trastevere and Andrew ZH. They both go wide. Christian contact with Trastevere, and he's nudged his way through, sends them both wide, and Andrew ZH can pick up the pieces, and look who's there to profit as well, the world champion Adrian.
Well, we said that Williams Christian was going to be aggressive in the first few laps with that hard front tyre, and that's exactly what it did, and it's cost him and Trastevere, as we see Piero Ricciuti go well wide, and now Jack Hammer's coming through as well. So the young Brit looks big hit there from Trastevere. A little bit of payback for turn 3.
He's got his own
It seems
back.
that the young Brit Jack Hammer, look at him on the 67 KTM. He's up into P2.
What a move from Jack Hammer up the inside of the world champion Adrian, but it's the poleman Andrew ZH that leads the way after a chaotic opening sector. For my money, that was 3 different men leading the way throughout the opening 3 corners. An incredible start to life in 2021, but it looks like we've settled into an order now with Andrew ZH leading ahead of Jack Hammer, Adrian, Trastevere and Juan NH. He's managed to battle his way through to 5th. I think that contact between Trastevere and Williams Christian must have put the Suzuki man on the dirt as Andrew ZH holds off as Jack Hammer tries to roll around the outside. That's some move if he's able to pull it off. The pair of them go wide, and that's allowed Adrian just to close back in on our leading duo as well. What an opening lap this has been.
So the established star and the young pretender then, they're 1-2 on the first lap. It seems that Jack Hammer's going to get in the slipstream. He pulls out now. Can he lead across the line for lead his first lap? No, not quite. So the young rookie then, he stays in P2, but not for long. He dives down the inside up into turn 1, and he's pushed them both wide. It seems that the world champion Adrian, is he going to come through?
Yes, he is. He
is.
is.
And there's a road bike. What's that?
Oh, that's Juan NH. Oh, Jack Hammer's been taken out. Unbelievable. Oh, what horrible misfortune for Jack Hammer through absolutely no fault of his own. A few connection issues for Juan NH means his bike is parked in the middle of the track, and the poor Brit had absolutely nowhere to go after a sensational start, battling for the lead with, as you said, the established stars of MotoGP eSport. What cruel, cruel look to see him drop down to 7th. He will be absolutely livid, and he's got every right to be as well.
Yeah, certainly, and it seems also in the chaos of that, we've lost Ricardo Bottaro. So the Yahoo Pramac Racing man, he has gone in just 1 lap and 3 corners of his first MotoGP eSport race. But look at this then, the 3 world champions at the front. We couldn't have had it any better. Here's a replay coming down into turn 1. Jack Hammer really taking it to the established guys. Rear wheel in the air, gets it stopped just about, but runs a little bit wide and then come through the 2 established championship men in our series, Adrian and Trastevere. Ever the opportunists, through they go, 1 and 2 now in the race.
And that means after 2 laps, we had Adrian, Trastevere, Andrew ZH, Williams Christian and Jack Hammer, 5 men, all getting the opportunity to lead the race. What a chaotic start to life in 2021. Please, gents, start as you mean to go on.
Yeah, certainly. If we're going to see this all year, it's going to be a cracking year in the Global Series. And one thing I really want to point out, as Adrian goes a little bit wide, Trastevere, he might have an opportunity
he's got a chance here. No.
Oh, no, thinks better of it. Wow, Andrew ZH was late on the brakes there. Gone a little bit wide. Track limits warning for Adrian. So needs to be careful. He gets 5 of those warnings, and then he gets a long lap penalties. It seems that Trastevere's got to run down into turn 5, but once again on the brakes, Adrian, that Honda, just a little bit superior coming down into the apex.
Oh, as he run wide though, a chance maybe for Trastevere to squeeze through. No, he closes the door, does Adrian. It's a great battle, this, between these two. We've seen them go at it on so many occasions. They're not only fighting for victory in this race, but a Adrian victory would see him draw level with Trastevere for the most victories in MotoGP eSport history. Trastevere, our only two-time champion, leads the way at the moment with 8 victories in his career, with Adrian just 1 behind in 7. That would bring the pair of them level, just another of the incredible storylines that are going to run throughout 2021. These two not only fighting for the world title, but fighting to be the greatest of all time in MotoGP eSport. There is no bigger prize than that.
No, there certainly isn't. But I'll tell you what, Jack, we've been sleeping on Piero Ricciuti in 4th place. We've been focusing on the 3 big shots out front, but we forgot the wild card from last year. I think I'll now call him the wild child. Piero Ricciuti is closing in on these guys. He's only half a second behind Andrew ZH, and he had the fastest lap last time round as well.
Here we go. Trastevere, he's got the run, he's got the slipstream, he's up the inside, and we've got yet another change for the lead here in Portimao. Trastevere hits the front, he goes wide though, and the world champion doesn't need a second invitation there. He swings straight back through at turn 2. What a move from Adrian to get the job done. It was nice from Trastevere, a picture perfect Portimao move, but Adrian saw him coming, let him run wide, and was able to squeeze back through at the first opportunity. Here's a replay of exactly what went down. There's the move from Trastevere, perfect. Clips the apex on the inside, but to outbrake Adrian, he had to run wide, and there is the Repsol Honda man. A little bit of argy-bargy, got the shoulder out, nudged him out the way, but that's what we like to see.
And I'll tell you what, for anyone that's been struggling on turn 1 into the brakes at home in Portimao, you see the way that Trastevere there, he swept the bike in over the crest, got it nice and sideways, just tried to stop the rear wheel coming off the ground, just helped him try and make that. As we look at Williams Christian now, he's actually just set the fastest lap of the race the last time round. That little red marker next to his number 25 on the timing screen on the left is... Andrew ZH just crashed! Unbelievable. He did this last year a couple of times, and I can't believe it. He's done it again. He looked like a reformed man coming back to the 2019 champion we all know, and he's down to 5th now. But what that has done, it's put Piero Ricciuti up into P3, who's actually being dropped now by our 2 big-time guys out front. But Andrew ZH, that is a disaster for him, as he was looking really comfy there in 3rd place.
Wow, that is a costly error. A costly error. He had to finish on the podium with Andrew ZH. Just remember back to what happened at the opening round of 2020 at Jerez when he ran out of fuel out of the final corner. That dropped him down to 8th. Another couple of crashes as well, I remember, at Sepang, when through no fault of his own, Sancho Queen rear-ended him and knocked him out. But that was no fault of anybody else but himself. Took in the front. An easy thing to do here at Portimao, but he will be livid. Oh, that is such a costly error, because in MotoGP eSport, consistency is everything. When you've got the likes of Adrian, you've got the likes of Trastevere, who race in, race out, and they're fighting for victories, you can't afford to give them a leg up, and that's exactly what he's done. Our 2019 champion down to 5th. There's a little bit of intrigue then grows, with Trastevere getting himself his first track limits warning as well. Here's the rookie, Piero Ricciuti. He's profited from that Andrew ZH crash, and he's now up to 3rd. Look at the concentration on him there.
Loving the facial expressions and the riding style, shall we call it, with these MotoGP eSport guys. Controller up in front of his face, looking very proper, esteemed gentleman indeed. But yes, now we look back to the number 67 on the KTM, Jack Hammer. Anyone getting shaky burn vibes from that old KTM in MotoGP? Just me, maybe. But Andrew ZH then, he's got Williams Christian all over the back of him, and he's no slouch either, Williams Christian. He finished 3rd in the series last year, so Andrew ZH certainly not going to get any rest just because he slipped a little bit further down on these guys. But he'll certainly be wanting to try and catch that KTM, who's catching a bike out front is Trastevere, but not quite this time. He's going to hold off. Maybe he's just going to, he's got a really good run through the corner, but just those curbs again. We pointed them out in qualifying, and we'll point them out again now. Those curbs, they really are tricky, and if you touch them, they're going to mess up your drive or your run through the corner.
These guys are going to go at it all the way down to the final lap. That is guaranteed. Trastevere just looked like he had the run there down the start-finish straight once again, but he just can't find a way through. If anything, it looks like Trastevere has got the pace, a superior pace, compared to Adrian, but unfortunately for him, the Spaniard just looks so strong on the brakes He's just parking it at the apex at every possible opportunity. He's not made a mistake as of yet, and that's not giving Trastevere a chance or even a sniff at being able to get through up the inside. I think worth mentioning Jack Hammer as well, of course, was bitterly unlucky to have that clash with Juan and H in the opening laps, but he has managed to regather his thoughts and back up to 4th place. That's still a great performance on his MotoGP eSport debut, but understandably we're focusing on our leading duo. A small error there from Trastevere, just ever so slightly wide, has just given a little bit of breathing room back to Adrian, and crucially that mistake comes in the final sector as well, so he's not going to be able to get the run on him down into the opening corner this time around. Here we are through the final corner then, Trastevere on the Yamaha as he has been for the past couple of years. Adrian newly on that Repsol Honda, and as we surmise, definitely not close enough, and that is the biggest gap we've seen all race long. That mistake extremely costly from Adrian, because from Trastevere, sorry, because the Italian now over half a second adrift.
I tell you what, yep, you said it, Jack. Those mistakes are certainly going to be the ones that will mean that Trastevere, whatever he does, how quick he is, it doesn't matter. He's not going to catch Adrian if he keeps making those mistakes. Adrian, as we know, all throughout last year, he was almost like a Terminator, just stone cold, never made a mistake, always seemed to be composed. So certainly Trastevere with those tiny mistakes, and I mean they are tiny, he's running wide by a few feet, but that's all you need to see. Like in that last lap alone, he took 4 tenths or so out of him on that one lap. So certainly what is going to be interesting to see now is whether Trastevere can reverse the tables and pick up his pace a little bit and make a final charge in the last lap or so.
Meanwhile, it's roles reversed in the fight for the final place inside the top 5 compared to our leading duo. This time we've got a Spaniard chasing an Italian, Williams Christian, all over the rear wheel of Andrew ZH as these two go down to the wire to try pick up that final place inside the top 5. I thought Christian was just going to have a big look up the inside there, and I think you're pointing out to me, Jack, that we've got a new fastest lap of the race coming from Trastevere. So he's not thrown in the towel just yet. There's no white flag been waved by the number 73. He's still half a second adrift. He's not close enough to have a look here, but he's certainly going to have a go in these final couple of laps to try claw back in our 2020 world champion.
Yeah, he really is, and it's great to see, because obviously last year we saw this kind of shift of momentum towards the end of the series where Adrian was unbelievably fast. He clearly had the pace on everyone and didn't quite, Trastevere wasn't quite able to keep up with him, but by the end of the series there was that shift and it seemed that Trastevere was the man. Oh, and we've just lost Juan and H, so more connection problems for some of our guys. That's a big shame to see his first race on the Aprilia has come to an early end with 2 laps to go. But Trastevere coming into the final 2.5 laps, it's great to see that maybe this year he does just have that 1/10 he needs over Adrian, and in MotoGP eSport 1/10 is massive. So keep an eye on the gap coming down into the final 2 laps as we now look over the crest. We're going to drop down into Craig Jones' corner. They need to be careful that they don't touch this inside curb, and they should be all good. Oh, Juan and H has actually entered back into the lobby, but unfortunately his race is done.
It's a little bit too late now, mate, unfortunately. It will be a no points finish for Juan and H, and that is, it's completely unavoidable, unfortunately, in the current climate that we are. We're having to do this remote, and we're totally dependent on these guys, Wi-Fi connection issues at home. It really is, back to basics to a certain degree through nobody's fault whatsoever. Once we get to the Global Series arena, where we know it will be a complete level playing field and everybody will have perfect connection throughout because we're all in the same room, but understandably that's simply not possible at the moment. So extremely disappointing, but there's not a lot that we can do about that, and I'm sure Juan and H will be disappointed, and hopefully you'll get all of that sorted for race 2 at Mugello coming up shortly. On to the penultimate lap then. Still Adrian that leads the way. Trastevere trying to apply some pressure in second, as is Jack Hammer as well. You can see just that speck in the distance. That is the number 5 of Piero Ricciuti. As he gets hard on the brakes there, the man in front comes into focus a little bit more. So it's quite the gap that Jack Hammer's got to to overcome in these final couple of laps here.
Meanwhile,
yeah, Trastevere is a little bit closer now. I don't know whether whilst we've been focusing on the guys in third and fourth, a slight error from Adrian has allowed the number 73 to close back in, but with a lap and a half to go here in Portimao, we've got a race on our hands.
Oh, here we go. Trastevere has turned the wick up, and it seems like he is going to go after Adrian for this first win of the series. It's bragging rights, the first win. You can't win the championship, but you can certainly tell your mate, hey, I'm faster than you. Watch out for me this year, lad. So here he comes then into the final sector, just about in the penultimate lap. He's going to be winding it up all this final lap. I don't know if he's going to be close enough, you know. Well, as I say that, it looks like he's pulled in just a little bit on the brakes there. Has run a little bit wide on exit, but it should even itself out. So coming down towards the final lap, I don't know. Do you reckon he's going to catch him?
I really don't know. If he's going to make his move, as we've seen throughout the opening couple of laps in this race, the best place to do it, he needs to get a brilliant run out of here, get into the slipstream that Adrian is going to be providing, pull out and dive through on the brakes into turn one. I don't think he's close enough at the moment. Adrian is just starting to pull away slightly. No, he's not close enough. Trastevere is not going to make a move here, and this is his best opportunity.
Oh, wow.
He's hard on the brakes, and he's managed to almost half the advantage of Adrian. Is he going to be close enough for a move at turn three? No, he's not. He's going to have to find just a little bit more to be able to just get alongside Adrian, but it's going to go down to the wire here. Adrian's still just about holding on, though.
So this is it. This is big bragging rights. If Adrian holds on and is able to win this will take him level with Trastevere on to 8 wins, and that is certainly not what Trastevere wants. He is Mr. MotoGP eSport, and he wants to keep it that way. But Adrian has certainly got other ideas. He's the reigning champion, and he's no longer in the shadow of Trastevere. He's also saying that I am the man, I'm going to beat you in this one. But it looks like it may well be a little bit too much of a gap for Trastevere. We know how equal these guys are on pace, but I tell you what, that's only one tiny mistake. If Adrian runs wide at the top of the hill here, this will be it for... Oh, and it looks like he is. He's all over him now. Whoa!
Oh, he's wide,
that was close, but that could be it.
I think it is. A small error from Trastevere just pushed him wide, and I think that gap is going to be big enough now for Adrian to hold on. Let's not forget, he started from 6 on the grid. He did it the easy way in 2020, taking pole position and then the race win, but he's had to do it differently in 2021. From the second row of the grid, yes, he's taken advantage of some of the chaos in front of him, but that's what champions do. Trastevere has thrown the kitchen sink at him on this final lap, but Adrian will hold on. He starts life in 2021 like he left off in 2020. The world champion takes the opening win of the year with Trastevere in second, and Piero Ricciuti comes across the line for a debut MotoGP eSport podium. What a result from him, and what a ride from this man as well. Jack Hammer, you could possibly say, was cost a podium through no fault of his own, but you can be guaranteed he is going to be fighting at the front week in, week out. Do not write off the 18-year-old Brit.
Yeah, certainly. Fantastic ride from Jack Hammer. Great stuff from Piero Ricciuti as well, on the podium in his first race in the season. And, well, Andrew ZH, obviously, we saw him battling up with these two, but a podium has gone missing for him with one costly error. So there you go then. It was Adrian that won it by, what was that in the end? 0.4 of a second from Trastevere, Piero Ricciuti, Jack Hammer, Andrew ZH, Williams Christian, Sancho Queen, Darkbright, and Mr. TFTW in 9th.
Right, let's catch up with our podium finishers after the opening round of 2021.